This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne, he's back. He and I are going to talk about a number of things. During the last part of our show, the second part of our show, we'll talk with Carol and George Bauer. They've made a $20 million donation to a hospital in Connecticut, and we'll find out why they're doing that, what they think about healthcare in general. During the first part of our show, we're going to talk about navigating uncertainty with the author of this brand new book, Peggy Lanum, and we'll be joining Peggy in just a second. I just had a shout out, if you don't mind, just for a moment. During the last week, Dr. Stephen Sinatra from Healthy Directions, he's been on the show numerous times. I've known him for at least 20 years, maybe longer, and he passed away last week suddenly. And he had such a great sense of humor, always had great tips and thoughts. During our last conversation, which was just a few weeks ago, he was talking about connecting with Earth by being barefoot. So in honor of Dr. Sinatra, I am currently barefoot. Of course, he said to do it outside. I'm in a studio, but
he was in Palm Springs, wasn't he?
No, he lives in Florida.
Oh, there was one Palm Springs. I was going, you don't want to go barefoot in Palm Springs.
Yeah, exactly. I think he was the barefoot yoga guy or something. I don't know. There were so many, but Dr. Sinatra certainly stood out as being an exceptional guest with some great information. Later on, I'm going to mention the passing of another friend of mine that I've known for well over 40 years, and we'll talk about that at the beginning of the next hour, or the next show. We go to, you're here in Los Angeles, Peggy, are you not?
Yes, I am, just outside of Los Angeles. Happy to. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. So Peggy Lanum is our guest, and thank you very much for being here. You know, I just lost a couple of friends, and we all come with an expiration date. Your book is called Navigating Uncertainty. Not knowing when my personal expiration date is, or when any of my friends' expiration date is certainly uncertainty. Isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And how we live well in the space between our coming and our going is what really matters. So that's what my book is focused on, is living our best life, even in times of uncertainty.
Well, we just came out of, and I'm not even sure we're out of it yet, the pandemic, the COVID-19 crisis. That was certainly uncertainty again.
Absolutely. And it doesn't end, does it? Like there's always just seems to be some more bad news around the corner. Not even just bad news, but just the whole influx of information that we receive in the modern world is just so much more than it used to be. So our brains just, I'm not sure are really equipped to handle well with as much exposure to information and all the noise around us.
And information bombards us, I mean, on our Apple Watches, our phones, certainly, our computers. Some people still get a newspaper. I like that tactile feeling. You can go into an elevator and you push the button to go up, and a commercial comes on, either for the building, hey, why don't you rent an office here? Or there's some, right? In restrooms, public restrooms, over urinals, there are TV monitors now. And Peggy and I and Daryl can see each other as we record this. She's shaking her head. No,
Did not know that for a fact. But that does seem a little bit too much, or a lot too much. But I'm with you, Mark. I like a newspaper, like an old-fashioned newspaper. And part of that reason is I love to be able to control when and where I read the news. And I have a little tip, and that is, there's things in life you can control, the things in life you can't control. But what I can control is how much I'm exposed to the news, and having an old-fashioned newspaper, which incidentally I read only standing up. It kind of helps me contain some of that information.
Do you start with the jokes, the comics?
The jokes are always my favorite, especially dog jokes. So yes, I do love that. But no, I usually start with the front page of the Wall Street Journal and take it from there. But yeah.
So in the last couple of weeks, and I don't know your view on this, I'll give you my view. The last month, 6 weeks or so, we keep hearing about, Roe versus Wade, and this just popped into my head. And the uncertainty of knowing what the Supreme Court was going to do until somebody leaked the information that it was going to be overturned. Justices, shame on you. That's my opinion. But the women from teenagers on are going to, now what do? More uncertainty. Are news things like this, do we take them personally? Do we internalize them? Should we?
It's so hard. And I think what you've just touched on is how polarized we are. And when that happens, we lose the ability to really dig deep and ask good questions. We just see everything black, white, and we sort of lose out on some of our compassion and our interest in others.
And the more we hear about news, guns in Texas and automatic weapons and all of these things that we're constantly being bombarded with, plus commercials in the urinal or at the urinal, it seems to me that almost all of us have a form of PTSD.
Yeah, we definitely have the opportunity for that, for sure. So what I think we can do is find out ways that we can control our well-being and the exposure to all the stuff that we can't control and make life better for ourselves. So there's a lot we can do. First of all, put the bumpers around what you can't control. Like, how much do you really want to be exposed to bad news, for instance? How much do you really want to be exposed to negativity on social media? So that's one of the things that we can do to kind of guard our well-being. And then moving forward, what we can do to actually increase our well-being. I think that kind of discussion needs to involve what a larger definition of health, what health really means, what self-care really means. And it's far more than just, out on the golf with your buddies. It really involves a lot of things that we don't normally consider, like acts of service. When we do something nice for someone, our brain gets the same dopamine hit as eating a sugary dessert.
Ooh, and there's no calories in that either.
There's no calories, and it can start an upward cycle of positivity. So, why not engage those aspects of civility that we have sort of, I think we need to brush off. The pandemic's been really hard on us.
It has been, as well as all the news and the politicalization of America. We're going to take time out. When we come back, we're going to talk about laughter. And I'll quote the Reader's Digest. Is laughter really the best medicine? I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. We're talking about navigating uncertainty with Peggy Lanum. Don't go away as Late Night Health continues. Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment. If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Alyn, along with the insane Daryl Wayne, who is back with us. That's terrific.
Been gone 14 weeks.
14 weeks? Oh, my. And that's one hell of a vacation, because that's what we've been telling people. 14.
That's what happens in radio. You're on vacation, and then you never hear from me again.
Yes, exactly. Well, I was just saying that I was hired at a radio station once and showed up and the doors were locked. They went out of business from Friday to Monday, you know. Our guest is Peggy Lanum. She is the author of Navigating Uncertainty. Before our break, I mentioned the Reader's Digest. There's a little section in there called Laughter is the Best Medicine. In your book, you talk about laughter. I did my due diligence too.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I think laughter is just so good for us on so many levels. It actually is a natural painkiller. So why not try laughing? It helps with our social engagement. It helps with our physical health, our emotional health. There's just so many great things from, being able to laugh. So it's something that we can really easily include in our day.
So if my knee hurts, I laugh and the pain will go away?
I don't know, but it's worth a try, right?
That's true. It's better than taking some drug that'll knock you out and you won't remember the day.
Yeah, exactly. And in the workplace, appropriate humor, we always have to worry about it being appropriate and kind, but it increases participation and problem solving. And for all of us, it increases creativity. So it's a great way to reduce stress and increase our well-being.
What was the motivation for you to write the book?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I was dealing with clients, and when I would talk to them about, what's working well, it would be like, oh, everything's good, good, good. And then the next step would be, it's been a lot. And that phrase just sort of captured, all the heaviness on their heart. And then the honest answer was, we are not okay. Whether it was talking about an organization or a family situation, there was the honest answer was, we are not okay. And I thought, there's so many tips and tricks from neuroscience and psychology and biology to help us live a better life, even in times of uncertainty. So that led me to write this book. And it's kind of in a really unusual fashion. Like there's not 7 steps or, there's not layers to it. It's just alphabetical issues. You pick and choose the issue that you find most meaningful to you or you're most curious about, and take it from there.
And it's a short book. It's just over 100 pages, and it's a fast read.
Yeah, I did that on purpose because when we're under times of stress, our brain can't absorb a lot of information. So I was trying to make it as quick and accessible and as bite-sized as possible.
Stress, everybody has stress, but there's good stress and there's bad stress, and then there's terrible, horrific stress. Can you give us a definition of good stress to start?
Yeah, so stress is good for us. We need a little bit of stress in our lives in order to keep us engaged and motivated and living well. That's one thing why work is actually so good for us, because having the right type of work keeps us engaged and productive. And that's really important for well-being. It doesn't necessarily need to be a 9-to-5 job, but we need to find meaning in what we do. So that's actually a way that stress is good. But chronic high levels of stress over the long term, it just is not good for us. It causes us to kind of be on this red alert where our sympathetic nervous system is just always actively engaged. And we don't have time to relax and have our rest and digest system sort of take over, which is really important because that's where our creativity lies. That's where we make really good long-term decisions. And we can't do that when we're all fired up in the heat of the moment all the time.
Science fiction often will portray a story of utopia. People do not need to work. If they want to order lobster, they can do that. They can have a vegan sandwich, whatever they want. Every need is taken care of. And what always happens in these science fiction stories is that somebody says, wait a second, I'm bored. There's no meaning to life. What do you think?
Oh, I agree with that. I think that we're just wired to create and to be active. And that's why I think we need to, as a society, to sort of redefine what retirement means. Because I see that people that are really doing well in their 80s and 90s, even my grandmother who is 104 and still teaching piano lessons, but they were actively engaged and found meaning in what they were doing. So work is important.
I'm jumping the gun, but Erwin Zucker from Promotion in Motion passed away last week. I've known him since the early 70s. He was 93 and a half and worked every day. I mean, he was a publicist and worked with radio and TV and print media and digital media. And it kept him going. I know it did. And nobody just wants to sit and retire. One of my neighbors told me that they've retired. And have I retired? I don't want to retire. I want to talk to, I learned so much from talking to people like you.
Yeah, I always have the question, what are you retiring to? Because that's really important to keep in mind. You're maybe retiring from something, but you need to be retiring to something as well. Whether it's volunteering in your community, which is so important and such a great way to make those social connections, or finding some other way of doing meaningful work. So I love the fact that you want to, keep working, and eventually I do too. I just want to die with my boots on. So
yeah, exactly. Just in the studio, Daryl, just push me to the side. We only have a moment or two left. I wanted to ask about control, because it's one of the first things that you said, controlling uncertainty. How do you control uncertainty when you don't know what's going to happen in an hour? You don't know that you're going to be in a car accident. You don't know that when you go and have a medical exam that they're going to say you have a life-threatening issue.
Yeah, well, you can't control that, obviously, but you can control your responses, your attitudes, and your thoughts in the present. And living in the present and living your best life in the present is where we're going to be able to find that synergy between engagement, productivity, and living well. So a lot of times we're spending our brains, on fast forward or regretting the past or anticipating the future, but being mindful and living in the present is really a great way to be able to handle some of that uncertainty in our lives.
And as we wrap up, do you suggest that people turn off the news? I didn't need to hear about Roe versus Wade. I just don't need that. That I'm so angry.
I would say be really aware, create awareness. How much of this is good for you? Can you get by with less? Just ask yourself some of those important questions.
Got it. Peggy, will you come back and we'll talk about civility and some of the other things in the book?
Oh, it'd be my honor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're terrific. All right, the name of the book is Navigating Uncertainty. Publishing date?
It was June, so it is hot off the press.
Hot off the press. So, and you can find it at Amazon,
yes.
I'm sure. And
Amazon.
Got it. Every place books are sold. Okay, good deal. Peggy, thank you. We will talk to you again in a bit. And thank you. Daryl, I'm going to turn it back to you as Late Night Health continues. Oh, I know. Join us at latenighthealth.com. latenighthealth.com. We'll have Peggy's pretty picture up there and some information about her in the book as well. Don't go away. More coming up. There you go, Daryl.